Online Racing is sponsored by Elgato, who created this lovely Stream Deck. For more information about the Stream Deck, the link is in the description below. Good evening everybody and welcome to AOR Hype Energy's Xbox One F2 League for Season 16. Today we're round 9 and we go to Spielberg where hosts the famous Red Bull Ring for the Austrian Grand Prix. It made a famous return to Formula 1 back in 2014 where Mercedes have been the team to beat except this year, and we know how that turned out. I am Jess and I will be one of your commentators this evening. Joining me this week and for the rest of the season now, I would like to welcome James to the commentary box. Hello.
Hello there, it's good to be here for this one, and
yeah, it is very, very exciting for you to join us, and we got a wet qualifying I think coming up, but we shall see what once we get the drivers into qualifying. It looks like it's going to be 4 wets as well, which makes the strategy even more important, doesn't it, James?
Sorry, yeah, didn't quite catch what you said there, but yeah, it should be a good race, this one. Austria's always quite close in terms of proximity on circuit. Often lap times are separated by thousands around here, let alone tens. We're looking at very, very close margins between these guys here today, and wet conditions, though, might spell, well, perhaps throw a few different mixes into this one.
Yes, and not many people may have practiced for the wets around Austria because they were expecting it to be absolutely sunny. So the tires we have available may be available for the race, the Super Softs, Ultras and the Softs. But at the moment, it is use of the blue for wets. So in my opinion, we could see the cream rise from the top and we could see a different pole winner, as last year's pole time was set by one of the esports drivers with a 1 minute 4.9, but I do believe tonight we can see that time absolutely broken from the other tiers. Well, obviously not this tier because it's going to be wet and we obviously don't know what the track is going to be like as we get towards the race.
Yeah, it's interesting that these guys, yeah, as you say, wouldn't have practiced in the wet conditions. It's not something that in any league race these guys would have practiced for. They would never have assumed that they'd get a wet race, and it's not often, in fact, to be fair, Jess, that you see those full wet tyres. You never really see them because they don't clear a lot of. They're supposed to clear a lot of water, but truth be told, they're not brilliant tyres to even use on this game. From experience, they're not nice to use, the wet tyres.
No, they are not, and I'll be wondering who is going to get pole position because we had 7 different poles here. But right now, we're going to find out what a lap around Austria looks like, but in the dry this time. It is driven by ACR Raven and commentated by Xbox One F1 commentator Ginger Andy.
Here we are riding on board with ACR Raven as he takes us for a spin around the Red Bull Ring, home of round 9 of the AOR Hype Energy F1 Leagues. Climbing up the hill to start the lap and into turn 1, braking at 100 metres and dropping from 8th gear into 4th for what is a really short apex. Now it's important not to scrub off much speed as you begin the long climb up the hill, through the kink of turn 2 and into the braking zone of turn 3, dropping from 8th gear down into 2nd. Now this is the summit of the circuit, some 60 metres above the start-finish straight, but it's all back downhill from here, opening up the DRS and going down towards the braking zone of turn 4, which is really tricky. Got to hug the inside like your favourite granny. Don't let the car run out onto the curb. You want to avoid that as you now go flat out through turn 5 into the area where the racetrack comes alive. Into the blind entry of turn 6. 5th gear through here, accelerating into turn 7. Throw the car in and then get spat out as you go on to turn 8. Now 2 corners left of what is the shortest circuit on the calendar. Here comes Raven into turn 9. 6th gear, incredible speed through there. The prancing horse gallops round the final corner and up to the line to complete the lap here in Spielberg.
And of course now we're back. A brilliant lap we've just seen there, and let's see what these times looking like on the board. Morso has gone faster than 4 then on in the 4-cylinder, I should say, with a 1:14.6. But look at that, exactly what I said prior to the hot lap. You'll see thousandths between these guys, and it's gone to prove there with John's Alanika in P2. And then Holland smashes it out the park with a 14.3, some 2.5 tenths faster than his teammate. It's a Force India lockout on the front row at the moment, but there's plenty of time left. It's a VSR, I should say, 1, 2, 3, 2 thousandths between Dralex and Morso, and hopefully that is a sign of things to come as the session progresses.
Yes, a familiar face for the top two because they got a 1-2 last time about in France. And as far as the championship is concerned, Holland is leading Maloney by a quite comfortable margin. He's got 123 points, Maloney has 74 points. And Holland has got the most wins this season as well as Morso. So not really that surprised of those two at the top at the moment. Morso's had a really consistent qualifying run. His average position is around about 4th place. And that is the highest average position that we've seen from these guys, apart from Infamous Clays, who unfortunately can't make it tonight. He had an average position, qualifying position of 5th. So, but we could see some different people rise to the top here. I think VLT Verstappen's got 4th position. And just to point out, Ollie has got a qualifying ban for this race. So that's why he's still in the pits and he won't be setting a time. So everyone that is meant to set a time has set a time. But we could see some faster lap time as the session progresses then. Now, we could, as the introduction of the new DRS zone, we now got 3 DRS zones in Austria now, and we could see some faster lap times, some slipstream, and some huge overtaking possibilities as well, which makes Austria one of the most exciting races on the calendar. Let's see who else is on a lap time that we could follow. I think everyone is probably going to go to the pits after this lap. So everyone has just set their banker laps in, and we still got 11 minutes to go of qualifying.
Yeah, interesting you say that, though. I mean, some may decide to stay out that little bit longer. They may just fuel the cars for a lot longer and just go out for longer stints. Perhaps the weather might improve as the session progresses. We don't know this in this information, of course, but that could be the case. And if it is the case, then actually you want to constantly be on circuit. You want to constantly be doing laps because the track is always evolving and always improving. This is where you'll see the most track evolution, is in the wet conditions.
Yes, especially towards the end of qualifying, as a lot of these guys can see the track rubbing up. So that maybe a few people may be getting a few lap times in a second stint and a final stint towards the end where they get the most grip. CRL Rosberg has just picked Morso to the post, so no longer a VSR Force India 1-2. He's got a 1:14.4, so around about 20 or 30 thousandths of a second separating between these two guys. As we said, very close indeed. Ollie just retired from the session, but as I explained, we had the qualifying ban anyway. And qualifying is pretty much important, but we've seen a few people bottle it from the start a few times. As we've had shown in the past as the highest average of people bottling it from qualifying to the race is one of the McLaren drivers, who dropped about 4.1 positions on average. That is a lot compared to that. So if they want to get a good race pace today, they really got to show their mettle out there for the rest of this race, because championship points are on offer. And as it gets towards halfway through the season, if you are in a good position in the championship, you're more than likely going to stay there unless you have a horrible last bit of the season there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, starts are always crucial. It's just about the race pace in general, though, and these guys will be knowing that. And you mentioned about the 3 DRS zones we have around Austria. Actually, it's a big factor in the racing round here. You can't really break a toe. I mean, you'll be dragging a car along for so much of the lap. You'll see it so often, a car just dragging along, if it's a dry race. With that DRS, it will just be so powerful around this circuit, because as soon as you have one burst of DRS on the main straight, you have a second as you come out of turn 1, and then another coming out of turn 3 as well. So you've got plenty of chances to make your overtakes, and all of them, bar turn 1, I would say, are a really good opportunity to make your overtake. Holland has gone fastest again. He's improved just that little bit by about 1.5 tenths. He's now off 2, and he still leads Cyril Rosberg at the moment. So a good lap from Holland, but as I say, these conditions hopefully will continue to improve, and lap times, I'm thinking we might get into the 13s, the high 13s at least.
Yeah, I do see the rain starting. There's less rain coming down at the moment, so that's why a few people are choosing to stay out. Holland has been out since probably the start of qualifying. It looks like his tyres and his fuel was fuel to the end of the race. But interestingly, Franglish and Verstappen have gone to a set of intermediates. So is the track really drying up to go onto a set of wets, or is it a gamble for these guys onto a set of intermediates? That is a judgment call that these drivers have got to make as we get towards the final part of qualifying. Is it good enough to still stay in full wet, or will they take the chance and go on a set of intermediates there? But if it works out, VRT Verstappen and Franglish have made a good judgment there, but we will have to wait and see, as a few people are still out, and it's definitely looking a lot better. So if you want to set a faster lap time, I do believe being on the intermediates may be the best thing to go. And yes, we definitely could be in the 113s, possibly the 112s if we're lucky, but that is a little bit pushing it, I reckon. We haven't heard from the drivers what the weather's going to be like for the race. We're a little bit high and dry about that. So, but if it's going to rain during the race, obviously they can choose, if it dries up, what tyres they want to go to afterwards. And same if it's a dry race to begin with. They have free option of tyres, unlike a dry to dry race. So pretty much the wet conditions might work out for some people if they are in the top 10 and want to maintain that position.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they'll be looking, I'd imagine, to be using, it's the super soft and soft tyre, dare I say, that they would most likely use. I don't think the Ultras will be in too much effect. They grain too fast. That's as simple as that. They grain way too quickly around any sort of circuit because of the tyre degradation that you find with the tyre temperatures that we have as well. The carcass temperatures get so hot, and you always hear about drivers complaining about the tyre temperatures, and that's exactly what they'll be like on those ultra softs. So my opinion, the super soft to the soft compound tyre is probably the best way to go, but if you're outside the top 10, I would be looking to go on the softs, go to the super softs. Simple as that. It's an easy one-stop strategy. Ultra softs, it's pushing it a little bit. Jaralik's gone faster of all though in the house. He's done a 14 dead, so we are heading towards that 113 barrier, and he's nearly 2/10 faster than Holland in the 4-cylinder. It's a great lap from the Canadian, and it's just omens really to see whether all these guys can improve perhaps.
Yes, if they're not out right now, I strongly recommend that they go out, because otherwise they're losing valuable track time, as a lot of people are starting to go out. We've got Holland, we've got Morso, and we've got John. Yeah, literally nearly everyone's gone out. There's only a few people in the pit. A few people are starting to get onto these intermediate tyres, so yeah, it is starting to dry up a little bit more. It is probably going to stay raining though for the rest of the qualifying session, so it's not going to be high and dry. I'm not expect to go into the times we usually see in dry qualifying. But as far as the race, pit strategy is absolutely crucial. If you want to go on to a set of the ultras, the ultras can last to about lap 12, and then go on a set of softs, and that will possibly last till the end, and then softs can last about 26 laps or so if you want to go on the softs to super softs, and then supers can last about 60 laps before you go on to the softs. So softs is definitely a tyre that we can see most people on towards the end of this race, so they have free choice of tyre there. But if you want to change track position, definitely the best call is for the super soft to soft strategy. Softs is not the best tyre to start on, but maybe someone will take that gamble there. As we also seen Robert saying a good lap time as well. As I think pretty much the top 10 are separated by about a second. That's how close it is. It's like F2 last season, but closer. And it just goes to show that it was hard choosing these guys to go into the top 2 tiers, I believe.
Absolutely, Franglish and Sam F1 LFC have done exactly what you said, and they've gone out on the intermediate tyres, and they are fast of all. They're 1-2 at the moment between the two intermediate runners, but Sam F1 LFC losing out just a little bit, 1.5 tenths off Franglish at the front. Former AOR F1 driver, of course, is Franglish, and he's got a good pedigree in AOR leagues down the years, and he's going to be hoping that he can just ever improve on that lap. Hayden goes fast of all then with a 13.4. He improves. Holland also improves to a 12.7. That's a great lap from Holland. And he gets his full senior back onto pole position for now. Some 7.5 tenths faster than the Renault of Hayden. Great lap then from Holland.
Yeah, literally everyone's on the intermediates now, apart from Welty that is still in the pit. So I think the ones who went out first definitely took that gamble very well. And John has gone faster again. So I was right, if people going to the 112s, I thought it would be a bit of a gamble, but it actually wasn't. And I think times can definitely improve towards the end then of the session. It's going to be absolutely crazy. You probably have to stay out until the end to get a good possible lap time, because if you pit now, you're probably not going to have time to set a lap towards the end. So that's why a few people are still choosing to stay out. But will the tide temperatures make a difference? I don't think so in the wet, but you never know, as the intermediates do quite a bit more heat than the for wet tyres. This is going to make things very exciting, as Bailey has gone fastest again, 1:12.4. I think Holland is not looking too comfortable again. If he wants to get pole, he has to go out again, as do most people for the rest of us. Holland has gone to the pit, as he's probably going to fit another set of tyres, probably another set of intermediates for the final part.
Absolutely, Verstappen, or Bailey as we know him better, as with a stunning lap there to go onto pole position. But you're right, just constantly getting these laps in now, because this track is getting so much drier for all of these guys. It'd be stupid if you didn't go out on one of these sets of intermediate compound tyres. Just try and pick someone up on a lap. I think, yeah, John Zalanico is coming around the final corner in the runner. Can he improve on his time? No, doesn't improve. He may be starting a lap, however. Let's just see what everyone else is doing. Franglish goes onto pole once again with a 12.2. He's on 1.5 tenths faster again than VRT Verstappen. It's going to be a crazy ending 2 minutes of this qualifying session.
I really do hope you are tuned into AOR at the right moment, because this is the best moment to find out if your favourite is going to get pole position. I can't really call it. I had so many predictions towards the start of this race once we found out it was going to be wet, but it's all already gone out of the water, so I'm not going to call any more predictions, because otherwise it will turn on his head. And I thought more drivers were going to struggle, but more drivers are actually thriving in these wet conditions, especially Franglish. We haven't seen Franglish in the top for absolutely ages in season 16. Dralix has gone fastest again with a 1:12.2. Can Holland go even faster, as he's about to go on his out lap? We shall see. And John is, I think, going to be going on another lap as well, as he's running out of fuel ever so slightly, so he'll probably make his way to the pitch. Yes, he is. Will he have time? I don't think he'll have time to set another lap. I think Bobbers is still on a lap as well, so a lot of people out on their laps at the moment. I think the ones in the pits are definitely going to struggle, as John thinks he's happy with his lap time, so he's no longer taking any further part. And I think Sam's on his out lap as well. So any predictions, James, going into this 30 seconds?
Yeah, I never make predictions, I make prophecies, and they often, as we know, turn out to be wrong. Rosberg comes up towards the line. He goes into P4. It's a good lap from Rosberg. He'll get another run at it. But there's going to be so much traffic in these final few minutes. Every car, bar the ones who've come into the pit, are all on circuit. That's about 15 cars, 14 cars, all on a circuit with only 10 corners. So there's going to be next to no room on this racetrack. Alex comes around the final corner. Once again, he's nearly dropped it on the apex of the final corner. He's up towards the line. He does improve to a 12.1. It's a safety net for him. Can he hold on to pole position for now? Verstappen will start another lap in his house. Rosberg is on another lap, as we know. Holland is also on a lap. They're all on their final runs now, Jess.
Yes, this is going to be absolutely insane. I think Dralix did make that final mistake, and if he didn't make that final mistake, he would have gone to the 111s and probably safely into pole position there. So he probably must be kicking his boots, shaking his boots, that he probably made that final mistake, or he might be happy, but he's probably going to be worried about the people behind him to probably beat that time. But Franglish just crossed the line. I think Rosberg has got a few more corners to go, as he's going to set a lap time. Oh, he just slided through that final corner there. What lap time are you going to set? He's faster at the moment, more so second. Is Holland still on a lap? Yes, he is. Holland is going through the final corner right now, taking a really tight entry round there. It is quite hard in these wet conditions. Is he going to get pole position? Yes, he is, with a 111.9. The first person to go into the 111s. I think the only person on a lap, I think, is LGS. Is he improving, though? No.
Yeah, Dralix was also just finishing. Yeah, Dralix's pit. I mean, it got so close towards the end. A bit of an anticlimax, really. But, yeah, Holland on pole from Verstappen in P2, coming with a really late effort. It was all about, if you were the last car on the road there, you would have probably got the best run at pole position.
Yes, definitely. And I think that will be Holland's second pole position and the first person in the season to actually get a second pole, because we had 7 different pole winners, and Holland's the first to break into the second poles in a row. So definitely a very strong showing from him as he takes pole by 77 thousandths to VLT Verstappen. Bailey getting a very good lap in at the last minute there with a 1:12.0. CRL Rosberg in third, more so in fourth. Dralix in fifth, Frangwish in sixth, Jork in seventh, Bobbert in eighth, John in ninth, and Beefer rounding up your top 10. The top 10 separated by 6/10 per second, as well as we got Welty, LCR Hayden, LGS, Pelzery, Maloney and X-Power and Sam, and obviously Ollie with his qualifying ban did not set a time. And the top 16 separated by 1 second. That's how close qualifying it was, James.
Yep, I said it would be close, didn't I? I said it would be within thousandths, within tenths of each other, and it certainly played out that way, didn't it? Only a second between all those guys. That's quite incredible. It is the nature of the circuit, but we have got a dry race, so that is one bit of good news we can give to you.
Yes, so that means they'll have free choice of tyres, unlike if it was a dry qualifying, so they can choose which tyres they want to go. So I doubt we'll see a lot of people on those ultras unless they want to get pace early on. So we could see a lot of people on the supers as we start this race then. But the bottom 10, that's going to be interesting. Which tyre will they go on to see if they can climb through the field? I can see a few of the bottom 10. Bottom lot go into those soft tyres first before they go onto the super soft, because they have nothing to lose and they can gain a few more positions towards the end. We got drivers getting ready, getting their last few tyre strategies working to make sure that they can get it set up correctly then. And interestingly, I think it's going to be quite close. Holland has gained the most wins this season, apart from Morso gained 2 as well. Rosberg gained a win as well. Maybe one of those who can gain the win, or it might be somewhere else as well. Frangwish was looking very strong as well, so I think he could possibly get a podium. It is all to play for here.
Yeah, it's all to play for. You're absolutely right. There's plenty of protagonists. I'm intrigued to see what Bailey can do from the front row. It's going to be very interesting to see the youngster on the front row alongside Holland and Rosberg, who are all with him as well. Some very, very big names, a lot of experience within these ranks, and definitely one to watch, I'm sure. That first lap though, that may decide this Grand Prix. It gets very, very hectic towards turn 3.
Yes, turn 1 is a very short corner, and it's not one in turn 1, and it's one of the most hardest corners on the circuit to overtake. So if you want to overtake, best option is, if you're right at the front there, get a move done there, or through turn 2, the short kink, or to turn 3 down that long right-hander. That's the best chances to get that overtake in, because if they try and make it through turn 1, it won't be an easy ride for them, and they could be involved in some collisions. But we have seen turn 1 starts be very clean for most of these drivers in the season, so I think that Austria can be one of those places. But if they are a bit too overcautious, then that where we can see problems. Ollie is now on the circuit. Let's see what tyres everyone has decided to go on. Interestingly, top 5 are qualified on the Ultra Softs. Well, not qualified, are starting on the Ultra Softs, with Frangwish, Jork and Bobbert on the Sev Super Softs, and John and Beefer on the Sev Ultras. And we've got Welty, LGS, Power, Sam and Ollie on the Sev Supers, LCR Hayden on the Sev Softs, so Pelzery and Maloney on the Sev Ultra. So all 3 tyre compounds used for the start of this race then. This could be epic.
Yeah, absolutely right. The guys lining up on the grid now, aren't they? And this is really the chance that they're all going to see each other in close proximity. 5 Ultrasoft runners in the top 5. A big call from all of them. But what may be a bigger call is who goes for that lunge into turn 1. The 5 lights are on ahead of the drivers, ahead of the F2 race in Austria. We are racing in Austria. It's a good start from Holland, who gets off the line well. Look at the Mercedes of Rosberg trying to cut himself in between Verstappen. He may have Verstappen on the inside. There's a huge lunge from one of the Saubers going back. There's Beefer, I think, in the Sauber. They're side by side, Verstappen and Rosberg up towards turn 3. Can Rosberg hold him off into turn 3? It's going to be close between them, and Verstappen still holds him. He's going to box him in with Holland there. There's more movement. Rosberg tries round the outside. Can't quite get the move done in towards turn 4. He's going to give that a good go. He looks like he might just do it, Rosberg. in towards turn 4. It's going to be close between the two of them, and looks like Rosberg's got ahead, but Verstappen fights back again into turn 4 and can't quite get the move done. Rosberg moves himself into P2. Hectic start, as I said, in this Grand Prix. Absolute carnage behind though, nearly 4 wide. The two McLarens are side by side as they come into the long left-hander. Menely just losing a position out to Jork there. Down into 12th and 13th we're looking at the discrepancies. Not even in the top 10, but they're all scrapping away for position.
That's how close F2 really is, as we've already got a yellow flag in Sector 2 and Sector 3, and that's LCR Hayden, who was involved in a little bit of carnage there, so he's probably going to go into the pits. Doesn't like he has much damage though at the moment, but it may have a little bit of, no, yeah, it's a bit of end plate damage there, which probably will lose a little bit of downforce, and I think apart from that, no major instances. Everyone is still on their second lap apart from him. I think Hayden just lost it on his own then. Everyone else made it through very, very clean into turn 1, which is very good to see. But already we're starting to see battles developing again, as I think we got Welty trying to make a move past Roberts. He was trying to make it stick, and he had to at the moment there. But Rosberg, already Holland's starting to pull away from Rosberg at the moment. Verstappen trying to close in onto Rosberg as well. All the top 5 around about a second, 2 seconds of each other. This is going to be absolutely insane, as I think Welty's going to have another chance going into this turn here, this long straight coming up here. It's going towards the one of the DRS zones, towards the final few corners here. I don't think he had the chance to make it through yet, but it's the closest battle we can see on circuit, as he's had the final few corners to do it. Don't forget, the race is not over yet. They will have a few more chances to do so. I think he has lost a bit of time going towards T1 there, so I don't think he's going to make the move. No shake-ups at the moment. I think we got another person in the pits, and I think that's Ollie Smithson, who is also involved in that carnage there. And also, I think it's on the back of Verstappen. He's probably going to try and make a move towards turn 3, but makes it stick. And Verstappen, nice defending there from Verstappen, and still in P3 there, but more so very good pace as he tries to catch up there. I think he's managing his tyres very well on those set of ultra softs, but can it make it last around about lap 11? Oh, we got Bobbitt and Franglish trying to make a move towards turn 6 there, and it's very, very tight entry towards that apex there, and I think Bobbitt has got the job done into P6 there, and I think the two Toro Rossos will still be fighting. Welty is already on the back of his teammate going towards this straight. Oh my word, this is battles after battles here in Austria. If this is going to be like this in lap 3, I can't imagine what it's going to be like towards the end of this Grand Prix. This is insane, and I think Franglish is going to make a chance towards Bobbers now as he goes towards T1 again. Still not got the pace at the moment, but already lots of drama and lots of battles in this Grand Prix. We're already on lap 4.
Absolutely, and more so has managed, as you say, he's right up behind now Verstappen as they head in towards turn 3, but Verstappen did get DRS crucially off the back of Rosberg. Franglish as well looking for a move. He's just sitting straight up behind that Williams of Bobbers who's so far behind, and Verstappen is under huge pressure from more so there in the Force India. It's really close between them, but what's more crucial, I think, between those Toro Rossos and that Williams, it's just maybe those Toro Rossos should have worked better as a team there. Perhaps they should have boxed in that Williams and allowed each other to fight with him and just to get ahead of him, but they didn't think that way. Rosberg though is starting to close that gap between himself and Holland. It's now just about half a second. There's action everywhere, and you're expected to see it throughout the whole of this Grand Prix because of the nature of the tow that everyone gets with the DRS around this circuit.
And speaking about Morceau and Holland, they were in a party last time in France when I was speaking to them, working together there. So I wonder why they chose to do alternate positions and stuff like that, and choosing to not cover each other up. But that's probably due to the qualifying they got. And we're already starting to see penalties already. Quite a shocker that we're only seeing it on lap 5 at this moment in time. That's why they got to be a bit more careful with some corner cutting. More so, still behind Verstappen. This is going to shape up to be a very good battle here. We already got a midfield battle between the Renault, the McLaren and the Sauber. Again, like you said earlier, James, John has got that move done and up into P9, but Pelzery is not giving up with the other Sauber. The two Saubers are working together like clockwork here. This is going to be action-packed here for these guys as John tries to defend now. We got the McLaren as well, trying to join in that sandwich as well. McLaren, I think, made his way past Beefer in the Sauber there, but I think Beefer's going to try and make another move towards that straight here, but is he going to do it? Is he going to get the slipstream from Maloney? I don't think so at the moment. He still has a few more chances towards here. Full-way battle for pretty much the points, to be honest, because any point counts here in Austria, even if it's just a 1 point. 1 point makes a difference, whether if you're in the top part of the championship or the bottom half, as they try to make it past T1 unscathed. I think they're a bit too further back to make a bow at this stage of the moment. More so 3.7 seconds behind Verstappen. Rosberg 6/10. So even at this earlier stage of the Grand Prix, Rosberg and Holland are still able to match each other on pace then. So it looks like they're probably going to pit roughly around about the same time. Bob is doing very well in 6th at the moment, looking very consistent around Austria at the moment. So we had a bit of a lock-up towards turn 6 there from one of the Red Bulls all of a sudden there. But I think we got Pelsbury but just behind John there, going towards that tough right-hander there. This is going to be close indeed. But already I think John made that move work, and it's going to be a dark horse towards this Grand Prix.
He absolutely could be. He needs to get a move on though, because he is on those Ultrasoft tyres in P9, and he is one of the lower members of the Ultrasoft club in P9, so he needs to get past these Supersoft runners. All three ahead of him, Wellesley, Franglish and Bobberts, they're all on the Supersoft tyres. It's a very fine effort so far from all these guys, but the undercut is quite powerful around here, so they'll be wanting to perhaps try that. More so looking for a move down the inside of Verstappen into turn 4. It looks like Morso's got the move done on Verstappen. He's going to squeeze the Haas out of road, and it looks like that is curtains for the Haas, who has now been passed by more so in the Force India. Verstappen will try and come back at him again without DRS, it should just be added, but he can't get the move back past him. More so stays ahead then in the Force India, and crucially now will be trying to help his teammate out with this pestering Mercedes of Cyril Rosberg.
Yes, Rosberg is going to start to chase to Holland, but he's got to make the move now if he wants to get that pole position and possibly win and possibly jump them at the pit stop. But right now, not huge gaps apart from Ollie and Hayden. They're the biggest droppers at the moment. Let's see who has gained the most positions and who has not really bottled it, as it were. The ones that gain the most positions at the moment is the Sauber of Pelsbury and the McLaren of Manoli, with 4 positions gained there. So already they made massive moves in this Grand Prix, starting 14th and 15th respectively, and a few guys ahead of them dropped down from way down the field. But I do believe Verstappen is going to try and make another move towards turn 3 or more so, but can't quite do it on this occasion, as more so is doing really well to try and catch up to Rosberg now. 1.4 seconds, but he's not far behind them, but they have to do it right now in order to make that move and possibly work together. Maybe Holland will be holding up Rosberg a little bit to make sure more so can try and catch up to Rosberg, to possibly make it a 1-2 finish for these guys then. But Verstappen having a very strong start to this Grand Prix, but I can see his tyres are starting to struggle a little bit there, which probably made that overtake quite nicely indeed there. And so far shaping up to be very good between these two. I think we've got John still comfortably in P9 there. We've got Pelsbury trying to catch up. John is already on the back of Welty going towards that start-finish straight. Can't make it do on that occasion though. But I think more so Verstappen, they got to try and make that move done ever so slightly.
Rosberg's down the inside. Oh my goodness me, he's looking for a move on the inside of the Force India. They make contact with each other, Holland and Rosberg. He went from so far back to try and get the move done for Mercedes. He couldn't quite get it done there though, and Rosberg will stay behind. But into turn 4, looks like he's going to have another good run on the Force India. Thinks better of it into turn 4. That got so close, they were hitting each other's side pods into turn 4.
Yes, that was getting close. And I did say Rosberg, if he had to make the move, he had to make a move now. Can he read our minds? Is he watching the stream? Because it looks like that he is. He's like, right, I'm going to try and gain some ground. And look at it. His tyres, the way he's running, it's like they are new and freshly fitted. That is what he is doing at the moment. Or is Holland losing a bit of time, or is it a bit of both? Is Rosberg matching the time? To be honest, I think Rosberg is matching their lap times, which is very, very good to see from the Mercedes driver. He wants to get another win. Those two are fighting for as many wins as possible here in these F2 Championship to make a stance in this championship, as we've got one of the first people into the pits, which I do believe is Beefer. I think he's going on to a set of, I think, the soft tyres goes towards the end of the race. Bobbers has got a time penalty there for 3 seconds. Not the best for him. I'm just going to see where Beefet ends up as well. Yeah, no, he's going on a set of supers, and I think he'd had a... Oh, no. Please don't tell me it's a bit of a pit glitch. No, it's not. He was waiting for the pits for quite a long time there. We probably did have a stop go ever so slightly, probably for speeding ever so slightly. So that's probably why he waited a little bit, or he had to repair a damage. I don't know what quite happened from Beefet there. So now he's dropped down from the likes of Ollie and LCR Hayden into P16. So it was looking like there was going to be a battle for Beefet towards this race, but I think it's probably ended there as he's in 16th. But one of the first to pit. Is he going to make the move? As I think we got our first...
Morso's in.
Yeah, Morso is in. He's making the gamble now. So I do expect Holland to possibly pit in the next lap, because obviously they share the same pit boxes, not like Project Cars or Artifacts where they have different pit boxes. Each of them have the same pit boxes. That was a good pit stop from VSR Morso, and he goes on a set of softs, and I think, yeah, that's going to go towards the end of the race, and that was the pit window we kind of predicted of when everyone was going to pit. A lap 11, lap 12 there, so he played his cards right then, and I think he's probably going to make his way around the field easily, and or maybe he might play it safe because he knows that not many people have pitted yet then. So Holland, it will be interesting to see when he's going to pit, which is probably going to be around about lap 12, so we're going to follow him and see where he comes in relation to Rosberg. But I think Maloney just got past John ever so well there. He's got all the way up into P7, and Pelsbury is going to try and make past John as well. And we got a McLaren losing a bit of grip. I wasn't sure which McLaren it was, but I think Melanie. So yeah, he was struggling there. I do believe John is going into the pits, and so is Halsery as well then. So definitely the right call. Yeah, I was right. Holland and Verstappen are going into the pits. Rosberg is just about to cross the line there. Well, he's going towards turn 2 and turn 3 there. So let's see where Holland runs in relation to his teammate. His teammate at the moment is 11th. He's probably going to come comfortably behind his teammate. Yes, he does, but ever so close there between those two Force Indians. So we could see a battle developing between these two. But Morso did jump Verstappen there in the pits, and Morso definitely made the right call to pit a lap earlier than Verstappen, and that paid off. But Verstappen was not that fast there going through that lap, so I think that's what costed Verstappen with that pit stop then. Probably a little bit of a slower pit stop than we might have imagined there, as Ollie just picked a 3-second time penalty. But yeah, the McLaren is starting to struggle there with those tyres, with those softs, so I think that's probably why he had to pit when he did, probably a lap earlier than probably expected then. But the ones on the super soft...
Rosberg's in.
Yeah, Rosberg is in. Yeah, he is pitting roughly around about the same time as we would expect him. Probably a lap later than we were expected, actually. He's probably going on to a set of softs as well. Oh, no. Yeah, going on a set of softs. The car is saying super softs, but the graphic is saying soft. So we're going to rely on the graphic, I think, to go on that. But the super softs are going to go towards lap 16. So the top 5 guys who are on the super soft.
Oh, it's going to be so close between these guys. Look at the Force India. He's nearly come straight out ahead of Rosberg, and now Morso's going to be side by side. It could be a Force India, net Force India 1-2 here. Morso's on the outside of Rosberg and has got ahead. He's undercut the Mercedes there, but he's coming straight back at him, Rosberg, down the inside. And Rosberg forces him off the road, and he does get ahead. Once again, there's a Williams sideways, was that? I just think, no, he was sideways, but he's back in a straight line now, and he stays where he is. But Holland has managed to keep his lead from Rosberg. That was so close between all those guys in the exit.
Yeah, Rosberg almost made that move stick, but it just shows Holland is really fast on this track here, as I do believe Holland is trying to play. Oh my word, there's contact. I think I'm trying to see who it was. It was, I think, Roberts or Williams. And yeah, I think he lost it a little bit there. That would have been so much closer. Luckily, not much damage, but I do believe Roberts will probably have to pit 3 or 4 laps earlier than intended due to that little spin there, because you probably know the tyre wear gets a little bit too hot if you do spin your car in circles like that. This is not where he needs to be at the moment. And Sam, another one of these ultra soft runners, pitting as well. So everyone off these ultra soft tyres are now either on a set of super softs, new set of super softs, old set of super softs, or a new set of softs. This is going to get interesting, as I think Sam almost made it in front of Beefer, but I think Beefer just cut it here on this occasion. That's going to be close going towards turn 2 and turn 3 there. And interestingly, a bit of that about Jork, as Jork has messaged the chat on Twitter there. He has damage since lap 1, which has costed him a lot of time, which is why he is down in P15 at the moment for the likes of that. And now Bobbers is now down in P17. So that is why Jork in the McLaren is struggling. I think Maloney was struggling earlier on in P9 in the McLaren as well. So definitely McLaren not the best car to be in on this circuit, or maybe it's just the amount of grip that these guys need to balance them. There's X-Power in the pits then. Probably earlier than what we'd be expecting. Maybe he's struggling with the tyres as well. Tyre degradation, very important around Austria. Like we said earlier, Austria is very, very hard on these tyres in terms of temperature. And since they introduced the new tyre temperature into this game, they can't afford to lose it ever so slightly then. X-Power doing ever so well.
Rosberg's down the inside of the lead of Holland. Holland's lost a position. Rosberg's into the net lead of this Austrian Grand Prix. Dives straight down the inside of that Force India. It looked like candy from a baby, that was. That was a terrific move from Rosberg. Moves himself into P1 technically of this Grand Prix. The two ahead of him have yet to stop, so he will be leading this Grand Prix for now, but Holland's not giving up on it. He's trying to go right back at that Mercedes, and he's just having to stick up behind him at the moment, but that's not what these guys needed in the Force Indies. They were planning on just jumping that Mercedes, not getting behind him, and it's all going wrong for the Pink Panthers today.
Yes, they were good in France, but not so good now. Maybe that their team strategies were probably not working as they intended, as Rosberg is already starting to pull away ever so slightly. But look at that fighting talk from Holland there. He's going to get the DRS, possibly going to turn 1. Obviously not the best move to do at the moment. Now going through the long straight here. Rosberg knew where Holland was going to go, and Holland is closing up on Rosberg at the moment. Is he going to make the past turn 3 onto that right-hander? I think Holland might have got that move done. Yes, he does. Holland is back in the game and up to P4, but Rosberg is still right behind Holland. This is going to get ever so spicy, and I think more so is a little bit too further back to make that move for Rosberg, and I think it's fighting time at the moment between these guys. It's like Hamilton versus Vettel in real life, I gotta say, except it's not the Ferrari, it's the Force India of Holland. Is still leading this championship and potentially leading this Grand Prix, and it's probably going to be a battle that's going to go towards the end of this Grand Prix, and also a battle that's developing towards the midfield. John in P10, and I think we've got Frangwish going into the pits then, and I think we've got Welty that's probably going to go into the pits a lap later then, so probably Holland is going to be the net lead at the moment, but Rosberg is on a charge. This is not going to end anytime soon. Please stay watching this to find out how that's going to unfold. And Rosberg's still closing, look at it.
Yeah, he's very close up behind Holland once again, who looked to get the move done again. But this is just what I'm saying. They're dragging each other along, and Rosberg has got through on the inside of turn 2 and the outside of turn 3, and he's back ahead of the Force India once again. But that will happen so often now because of the tow that they're getting from each other. And it looks like that once again, Holland will try and come back at Rosberg down towards turn 4. He won't be getting that move done into there. Although, having said that, I may have second thoughts. He thought about it, but thought better of it into turn 4, and he will stay behind Holland. But this is just such a constant thing now in this Grand Prix. The DRS is dragging these guys along. This is why they're so close to each other, because they can't break the tow. They can't break the DRS with each other.
No, they can't. This is going to go towards the end, and if they're biting their tyres a little bit more, then they can start to struggle. But it doesn't look like that they are struggling. Both teammates are side by side. Will also start to play the wingman role and help Holland, or will also be trying to make that move on Holland and overtake them. It depends who is faster. Maybe they might play a Hamilton-Bottas game, see who is faster, and whoever's faster they can see if they can try and make the move towards Rosberg. Well, Rosberg there. We'll have to wait and see as this race develops. Then they're probably going to be close going towards turn 3 again. Oh my word.
Goodness me, he's around the outside. He's banging wheels with him on the exit. He'll be side by side again towards turn 4. But it's the DRS that will play into Holland's hands here into turn 4. Rosberg, though, we know how good he is on his left foot. Does not allow that brake pedal. He prolongs that brake, and he just stays ahead. Somehow manages to stay ahead. More so, there's a huge pressure from Verstappen behind. That's a hard one to say. And he can't quite get the move on the Force India ahead of him either. But this is a canny fight for what is technically the lead of the Grand Prix. Welty's the only man well, yeah, I believe one of the only few men not to have made a pit stop so far in this Grand Prix. So this is a fight for the lead, and it is a brilliant one.
Holland got a 3-second time penalty. I was just about to say none of these drivers do have penalties, but now Holland does have a penalty then. So that means if things are not careful, if Holland doesn't stay clear of Morso, Holland can possibly lose the win if he is not careful and possibly lose it to Morso. But it could still be a Force India 1-2. It might make another chance going towards turn 2, or will that mindset let go of him? Doesn't look like it. A banging wheels there going towards turn 3. Now going to approach the DRS zone around here then. Holland is right at the back of Rosberg now. Rosberg's going to do well to try and defend going towards turn 5 there. This is nail-biting stuff between those guys, and Morso is joining in the fight as well. Rosberg still managed to hold on to that lead, and only just, but Holland is still 1/10 of a second separating between him now. It's all about slipstream now, not DRS at the moment. And I think that is will probably make the difference there. The advantage is Holland will have the DRS, Rosberg won't. I don't think Rosberg needs the DRS due to the amount of speed that he has going towards that final straight. But maybe Holland is is he gonna enable the DRS? By the looks of things, he does. He's trying to do well on ERS at the moment. Rosberg is running low on ERS, so Holland can use his ERS to potential as we go towards turn 2 and turn 3. Every lap we're seeing Holland lead one of the Grand Prix, then it's Rosberg, then it's Holland, then it's Rosberg, and maybe it might be more
to the outside again, and he's gone for it, and he has to get this move done now, and he can't get the move done now with that 3-second time. But I'll see, Rosberg's nearly lost it on the exit. The Force Indians then are going to be 1 and 2. Rosberg has somehow lost it on the exit, their curve there, and Morso has gone on the outside of his teammate. Will there be team orders between these two? They're fighting like crazy into turn 4, and I don't think there is any team orders. They stay as they were, Holland ahead of Morso, but it's crucial now then that Morso starts to maybe help his teammate back these guys up, and that's maybe what he should be doing, but he won't be, because there's a championship on the line for this one, and none of these guys want to lose it. Holland will have to now pull a 3-second lead. We've seen how difficult it is to break the tie with DRS. It's not going to be easy for him now. Rosberg is once again all over the back of Verstappen. Dralax is starting to form in this fight as well, down in P6. He is technically P5 in this one. It is so close between 5 cars going for the lead of one Grand Prix. There's only going to be one man standing at the top of that rostrum come the end.
I wonder who is going to get that position. Get your predictions in the chat, but like I said, we're not going to get much positions then, as I think Welty's going into the pits. And
he's got a puncture.
He's got a puncture. Well, he wasn't going to the pits, but I think he'll probably
front
have to
right.
now.
Left right, what am I on about? The back, the rear right, that's what I'm looking for. He's got a puncture on the rear right tyre there, and they're on super softs. He can't do 20 laps on super softs. The tyres have gone for him, so that's not something that we've become accustomed to see. But look at this now, the top 4, all within a camera shot of each other. Fantastic stuff.
And these drivers showing why they are the best in F2, and it's good to see Verstappen in the mix, because he has had bad luck during this season, and now he's got good luck. Franglish just made his way past his teammate, and yeah, I think the lap times that people were expected to go on to those super softs were around about lap 16 to 20. So basically, Welty was definitely cutting it fine. He thought he was going to make it due to those overcast conditions, but unfortunately he didn't, and he's got the consequences. As more penalties are starting to develop, but that is not what we're interested in. We are interested between the top 5 battling for the lead of this Grand Prix. Who would have thought it around Austria? Austria did bring some carnage and good battles last season in F2, and it's certainly bringing it, and it's going towards turn 2. Morso's going to make the move. He easily gets it done, but Holland gets the switchback. What a move, but Morso made a mistake, I think, by the looks of things. With Verstappen, Bailey is now up into P2, so if he's not careful, if Morso doesn't get an act together due to the time penalties, Verstappen could gain the win. But we will check the penalty to see if Verstappen has got a penalty. Doesn't like he's got one. Rosberg is definitely back in the fight now. He wasn't before, but now he's definitely in the fight for the win. Certainly these top 5 could get the win there, but Dralic has got to make the moves anytime soon there, as he's way at the back from the top 4 at the moment. Maybe he is struggling on his tyres ever so slightly, but Rosberg should be an advantage because he's been on 9 laps of soft tyres. Everyone else has been on 10 laps. Maybe he was at an advantage. Dralic has got his
Morso's gone for it. goodness me, he's getting squeezed towards the pit wall into turn 1, but Morso's up the inside into turn 1, thinks better of it into the first corner. Verstappen, though, is going to have a bit of DRS on the back of Holland. This could be a huge victory. Someone is going to come out top chance. I can see spits of rain are starting to fall as well at this circuit. Verstappen's all over the back of Holland. He can't quite get the move done. All Bailey needs to do this race is keep his pace consistent and keep it where he is. He just has to defend like crazy and do everything he can possibly do to hold on to that P2, because currently he's winning this Grand Prix. But Bailey doesn't know that. Into turn 4, he was looking to make a move as Verstappen, and he can't get the move done just yet. We saw a Verstappen win in real life, and we see a Verstappen win in F2 as well.
Yes, I do believe Max Verstappen did one in real life again as well, and I think the Dutch fans will be going crazy to see if Verstappen name get that win if he can. And yes, you're right, James, we are seeing the start drops of rain, so there's one stop strategy.
Morso's on the inside of Rosberg into turn 9. That's not a place to make a move. They're side by side through there, and it looks like Morso's got the move done, or has he? Because Rosberg is going to be back on him again into turn 3, I'm going to say, because he's definitely not getting the move done into turn 1, although I've seen weirder things. He's not going for it into there. Turn 3 will definitely be the place where he'll look to make his move.
Yes, definitely the one-stop strategy will probably go out the window now, and it'll be interesting to see who blinks first and who goes on a set of intermediate tyres. But I think it's probably going to be a little bit of light drizzle, like I've seen in other Austria races, where it's been light drizzle for the last few laps of the Grand Prix and hasn't turned to light rain, as we're already starting to see drops on the car then. So where will they make the call? Oh, Rosberg's going to try and make the move towards turn 5 there. Doesn't quite get the job done as he went into the grass a little bit on those soft tyres there. Morso needs to defend like crazy now, as I think we got a Red Bull slowing, and that is Ollie Smithson. That is not going to help these guys battling for the win there. Hopefully Ollie will know that. But Welsh just sent the fast lap on a set of ultra soft tyres. He knows the race is over for him. He just wants to get that faster lap glory. As they're approaching the last few sectors of sector 3, as I think Verstappen is a little bit too further back from Holland at the moment. But he knows he's got to keep consistent, like he said, to gain that. Maybe Verstappen has been told to take it easy due to the fact he knows that Holland has got a penalty, but he doesn't know how much penalties he's got, so he can't afford to become too complacent here. Rosberg's around about 3/10 separating between him and Morso. He might try and make a move towards turn 3 down that right-hander here. A bit of a lock-up from Morso. That probably didn't help him in the slightest there, but I think Rosberg didn't make the move there. Dralix is right behind Rosberg as well. Dralix is back in the fight. I swear people are watching the stream, because otherwise they wouldn't be fighting this hard. I'm actually joking. But anyway, Rosberg has got to now try and attack and defend. That's going to be very, very difficult here. But in F2, you've got to try and do that. Otherwise, you probably wouldn't be in an F2 tier if you keep it like that. And that's what these guys are doing. So far, Holland is leading on track, but Verstappen might win on penalties, but we'll have to wait and see. We will check the penalties towards the end there. Rosberg's around about 8/10 separate between Morso then, dropping further back, and we've already got 11 laps to go of this Grand Prix. Any of the top 5 can win this.
I've just checked the penalty count, and actually Verstappen's got exactly the same number of penalties as Holland. That's just one, but that's one that may cost him in this Grand Prix. So Verstappen has to go for this move. He has to make a move stick. He's got 10 laps to do it, and he's thinking about it into turn 3, but thinking better of it once again. He's a wise head, is Verstappen, no, despite his age, but he is very wise at the best of times. And Verstappen will have to get a move on. He'll have to get a wriggle on in that house. He'll have to make a move at some point, because he's starting to lose time now, sat behind that Force India. He's got the pace. He just has to be a bit more brave on that left foot, on his brake pedal, and make sure that he can get the move done.
I think he's shown more of a consistent side of this season, because he had the poorest of starts, and now he's looking to have a much better finish. This will probably be his best finish if he keeps this up, as Ollie has gone for a set of intermediates. I don't think it's the right condition for intermediates, but I'm still seeing some damp parts of the track, so maybe Ollie might get the strategy, he might not, but it doesn't matter because he's right down the bottom of the field. Rosberg's now got a penalty now, which will probably play into Morso's hands, because I think Morso's the only one without a penalty of this Grand Prix, so Morso could get another win, 2 races in a row, but Morso doesn't know Rosberg has a penalty yet, so he's probably going to still try and defend from Rosberg like crazy. This could be another move towards turn 2 and 3 between Holland and Verstappen. This is going to get juicy between these guys. Not making a move as of yet. Rosberg dropping out like flies, and Dralix almost got that move done on Rosberg. His mindset is not looking too good right now, But you got to be careful. You can't let that negative mindset be on your mind for too long, because otherwise Rosberg will make mistakes similar to what he was making a few moments ago, and that's why Dralix is closing in on him. He probably wasn't expecting someone like Dralix to close in on him. He's probably seen Holland or Rosberg, or more so. But Dralix doing absolutely well already in this Grand Prix. They're still in 5th position, but he could gain his first podium if it stays like this at the moment. We are still seeing the tyres start to struggle at this moment in time. But I question welty on a set of Ultrasofts right now. The Ultrasofts are the softest tyres at the moment. He's probably going to struggle to try and get this car towards the end of this Grand Prix. But anything can happen here.
Yeah, something I'd just like to pick up on. If this rain intensifies, and it's looking a little bit spitty, not really too much in the air at the moment, but if it does intensify and these guys do decide to come in, the winner of this race, I'm sure, will be one of the Haas cars, because they have got the biggest gap, or Rosberg in the Mercedes. I'm only saying that because the close proximity between these two Force Indians would not be enough if they made a pit stop. They'd have to double stack, and that would lose so much time if he came into the pit. So I don't think we'll see a pit, even if it does rain towards the end of this Grand Prix. But Verstappen, as we say, does need to get a wriggle on. He does need to get this move done on Holland ahead of him. It's taken him so long, but you feel like, well, we know what Bailey's dad's like, and he's, I'd imagine, going to be screaming at him to get this bloody move done. He'd be saying, let's get it on. Let's see if we can get this move done on Holland in the lead. It's 0.7 of a second between these two. Maybe the biggest gap we've seen between these two for quite a while in this Grand Prix.
Yes, indeed. I think Bobbers has lost the position to LGS there, and is now down into P12. But that's not the battle that we want to see at the moment. We've got 6 laps to go. Well, 7 laps to go of this Grand Prix. Frank that was looking to get a very good start, did lose quite a lot of positions in this Grand Prix, and it's now down into P9, so not a really good Grand Prix from him then. Verstappen is still trying to close in onto Holland there. They're closing in lap on lap on lap, but unfortunately did not make that move. He's probably going to get DRS enabled now, and he's probably going to try and make the move towards turn 5. It's a really big downhill straight coming up at this stage, but unfortunately he's staying where he is at the moment. They are quite equal on penalties, but Morso is also catching right behind him. If any of these two make a mistake, Morso is going to be on a charge. Rosberg is already losing time already to these guys. 2.5 seconds to Morso, Verstappen and Holland. But Dralix is going to catch up like a hawk then. So I think Rosberg's negative mindset is definitely getting to him. We can't afford to do that as we're going through to the latter stages of this Grand Prix then. And also the battle, the point is also intensifying towards the back of the field as well. Because I think we've got X power 2.4 seconds. I don't think it's going to be enough to possibly gain the point, but we haven't seen what the penalties are like yet. So anything can happen. I do believe X power and Sam are on penalties at the moment. But I think Verstappen's going to get another chance. Possibly they're on turn 2 at the moment in that kink. They're probably going to get into turn 3. Verstappen, nope, he stays put at the moment. This is going to go on forever and ever. Verstappen's just going to try and find the right moment to blink. Has he forgotten there's going to be a penalty then? And I think Famish probably made that replica move. He's gone for it.
Oh, he thought for a move into turn 4, but thought better of it again. He thought about it. He then went for the move, then he came back at it again. If any of you watch football, if you see a goalkeeper come out for a ball, doesn't claim it, and then runs back, that's literally like that was. He wasn't committed enough, was Verstappen, into turn 4. And he's just having to just sit up behind this Force India, and all of this is playing into the hands, you say, of Morso, who actually could snap up 2 positions here in quite quick succession.
Yes, Morso is definitely looking at a strong position and will help Force India in the constructors. Rosberg being the biggest loser there, as we got our first retirement of the session of FIFA on those set of intermediates. Definitely the gamble did not pay off. It wasn't the right time for a set of intermediates, and now he is out of this Grand Prix then. Probably, it looked like he was in the pits. He probably binned it in the pits. As Verstappen's going to try and make a move towards turn 3. They're banging wheels. It's going to be absolutely intense between these guys. Verstappen has got to try and make that gamble towards turn 4 then, approaching, but I don't think he's going to make it at the moment. He might get a chance. He's got DRS.
Oh, he's around the outside, Verstappen. Goodness me, he's going to have the line, he's going to have the traction as well, because the line, he's on the better line here, Verstappen. Into turn 6 we go. He's up the inside, is Verstappen, and gets the move done. But Holland isn't going to have an answer to it. Verstappen leads the Austrian Grand Prix, and what a fantastic move that was from the Haas, and that is something that we're going to be accustomed to see in years and years to come.
Yes, Bailey is pretty much younger than the rest of these guys in the F2 grid, and if he's like this now, imagine what he's going to be like. I'm almost certain in probably a few seasons time, or even next season, he'll probably make the ranks into the top tier and possibly be like the flying thing, because the move that he made towards Holland there was absolutely remarkable. I think we have a lot of people in the chat rooting for VLT Verstappen. They're absolutely delighted that he's doing well as well. We also got Holland fans as well.
Holland's down the inside into turn 3. He's got the move done, the Force India. He's back at it again, and he's back past the last car. And now Verstappen's going to have to try it again into turn 4. Look how close this is. 3 cars within a 5-pound note of each other. It's so close to call.
Yes, it is. Oh my word, it's going to be too tough to call. My heart is wrenching a million miles a minute just to see what that happens. I'm too scared to go to another battle, because this battle might materialise ever so slightly then, but more so is around about the same length of time as Verstappen is to Holland, as more so is to Verstappen then. So any one of those top 3 can win it then. But don't forget, Holland and Verstappen has penalties. Does Morso have a penalty? We'll check in a minute. I don't think he has. Or he might have the one. He might be on an even. No, he doesn't. So Morso is looking on course to gain his 3rd win of the season, and if he keeps this up, or will we get a different winner then? If these two want to get the win, they've got to be clear of Morso, but it's looking like he's not doing that at the moment. So they could win it on track, but they may not win it due to penalties, which has decided quite a few F2 races already this season.
Oh, he's on the outside again, Verstappen. He's looking for the move again. They make contact with each other, and I think Morso's going to pick up the pieces here. He's one at the inside of 1. When he got the inside of 2, no, he thinks better of it. He doesn't get the move done. He had to run Morso, but he didn't go for it. And Verstappen once again is stand up behind the Force India into turn 4 and look to the outside. Morso thinking about a move as well. He's prowling around, just ready to make a move once these guys perhaps make a mistake. We don't know that, of course, but they may make a mistake. And Verstappen still can't get the move done and set in stone on that Force India.
Wow, this is going to be absolutely intense between these guys. I think to be honest, Rosberg has probably bottled his chance of getting a win here in Austria, unfortunately, due to that penalty that he has got, and he's dropping time. But he's already closing in on to Morso ever so slightly, so he did gain a little bit more time here, but I don't think it's going to be quite enough as we're going towards the final few laps. Everyone on a set of soft tyres now, and I think we're about to see the end of the tyre life pretty soon if we're not careful. Verstappen is looking like he's going to make another move towards T2, and I think Morso might look like he's going to do the same thing, as almost banging on again.
Stunning! Oh, it's contact between the 2 of them. But my goodness me, he sold him the dummy. He went for the move and made it stick, Verstappen. He's into the lead of the Grand Prix again.
Oh my word, Verstappen is absolutely insane right now. But Holland is trying to make another move again. But unfortunately, didn't get the good line towards turn 4 and approaching turn 5. But wow, we probably wasn't expecting Verstappen to be involved in this battle.
Goodness me. Yeah, he's up the inside again. They made contact into turn 3, actually. That's where I saw Holland, if you notice, started weaving on that back straight, and that's because Verstappen may have just piled him into the wall there, but he went one way, then another, and he couldn't find him, could Verstappen. He did get the move done, and he stays ahead for now, but it's not going to be enough for the Grand Prix win.
No, unfortunately, but it is also played for, because I don't think it's going to be quite enough to go on to the set of intermediates. So it's definitely that one-stop strategy. I was definitely worrying for these guys if they were to go to a 2-stop, but they definitely made the gamble staying on those sets of soft tyres. Ollie did go on the set of intermediates. That didn't quite work out.
Holland's down the inside again into turn 3. He's got the move done, has he? Yes, he has. The Force India is back ahead again. The Haas is back on his tail though. Look at they're side by side. They're nearly banging wheels off the road. And on the grass they're nearly together once again. Into turn 4 we go again. Verstappen on the inside again. And Verstappen takes the lead again. But Holland is coming back again. And there's a lot of agains going on here. But he's going to try and get him right around the outside. Can he get it done? No, not quite. And the Haas has got the lead, has he? Because he's getting piled off the road as the Force India is going to try it right round the outside of turn 7 and 8, and he's still not got past that Haas.
No, this is definitely going to be a last lap battle. We've seen a last lap battle in Baku, and we've also seen it here in Austria as well. Last lap battles definitely bring out some interesting strategies as well. And I think it's going to rain really hard as we get to the end of this Grand Prix, just like it is in real life, which is quite a bit of a coincidence, really, isn't it? And I think Morse is going to try and catch up to Holland as well then. So final lap battle then. Who do you think is going to win it? I can't call it. It's going to be between any of these guys then, but I think on hand, probably Morse is going to gain more an advantage due to the fact that he has no penalties then. Rosberg now closing in onto Morse. What a really textbook move here from Rosberg, and he's gone up into P3, but I don't think it's going to be enough to clinch that.
Verstappen. Holland and Verstappen are side by side into turn 4. They're getting another battle in on the final lap of the Grand Prix. Verstappen trying to hold him around the outside. Can't quite get the move done, and Holland is back up the inside, and he's got the lead back, which will be technically second place in this Grand Prix, because despite Morso finishing in 4th on the road, he'll finish 1st in the Grand Prix. Rosberg coming right back through the field and is trying to take these final few positions on the final few corners of this race. It's going to be so close to call for second place in this Grand Prix then, between Rosberg, Verstappen and Holland.
Yes, as Holland is just about to cross the final few corners of this Grand Prix. It's been an intense Grand Prix and we've both enjoyed it. Holland's going to win on track. Don't think he's going to win it in the race. Verstappen comes across the line, and yes, it is Morso that takes the win then, and Holland gains second place. So once again, like it was in France, it was Morso P1, Holland P2, a Force India 1-2. That is definitely the result they needed already then. They definitely fight their troubles towards the start of this race, and they fought through the field, and they have won it and got the best results from the pack there. Maloney doing their best to try and get into P5. John with an excellent P6. Dralix with those penalties dropped him down to P7. Not the best from him, but Frank was in 8th, Sam in 9th, and Peltry ended up getting that final few points there. But wow, that battle just went on for laps on end. It went on for pretty much the whole race between these guys, and Verstappen only joined it around about lap 20 or so. I think Verstappen did very well as well. So again, I think the one who did gain more of an advantage to use those penalties is Morso. He afforded to take it easy just a little bit, because he knew these guys had penalties due to Jeff, and that is what helped him. As Morso gains his 3rd win of the season, and I do believe he's going to close up to the leading guys of this championship. I will look at the point as well just to see who will gain the lead after this race then. But boy, what a race. Austria did deliver last season in season 15, and it definitely delivered in season 16 as well.
Yeah, another brilliant race, I'm sure, but let's just hope. Will we get the podium interview sorted? I do hope we will, because there's going to be some rather feisty words between these guys.
Yeah.
More so Holland and Verstappen, the top 3. It's a great drive from Verstappen. Despite him starting on the front row, he really did hold his own against 2 of the best in this league, in Holland and Morso, and he fought them all the way, so he should take a lot of confidence from that, because that is a stellar drive from the Haas.
Yeah, very impressed from Bailey. That'll be his best result of the season. So we are about to get the podium celebrations there, as I do believe, yeah, a Force India 1-2 and a Haas P3. The Force India guys will be very, very happy. And I think we do see Tim and Marduk there celebrating for the Force India garage there. He's switching between Tim there every time he wants to win. So, yeah, we were an all-British podium here in Austria there, defeating the Dutch here in this Red Bull wing there. So definitely well deserved for the Force India guys. I was a bit worried about their strategy to begin with, but it paid off towards the end of this race when it counted at the end of the day, because it's not one towards the opening stages, it is one towards the end, as we're just about to get the standings as soon as it loads. There we go. Morso takes the win there. The only one, I think, out of the top 4 to not get penalties. Holland in P2, Verstappen in P3, Rosberg in 4th, Maloney in 5th, John in 6th, Dralix gaining a 6-second penalty as well as John, and Dralix there, and Sam in 9th, and Pelsby rounding up your top 10. And we've got X-Power, Jorg, Bobbert, LGS, Welty, Hayden, and Ollie making up your final finishers. And for the first time, we've only had one retirement, and that is Beefer in the Sauber. And we are going to get the top 3 into the interview box. And definitely some feisty words here will be made there, and we're interested to see what they think and how those strategies work towards the end there, as we're starting to get a few people into the party now.
Yep, and let's hope that, well, we get more racing like that in the future. We've got the British Grand Prix, of course, next time around, and
looks like everyone's
hopefully
in.
these guys will be. Well, everyone is in.
Oh.
Let's let's get on with it then. Who do you want to take the questions up, or what are we doing?
I'll let you do it because I did it last time, obviously.
Go on then.
Yeah. I'll let you do it.
Right, so Mr. Morso, top step of the podium once again, my friend, and there's points of that race. I don't even know whether you led that Grand Prix at any points. There's a win on the final, well, because of penalties. You must be pretty happy with that result.
Yeah, I'm thrilled to be on top step again. I mean, yeah, I knew everyone around me had penalties, so for the second half of the race I was just sort of thinking, you know, don't get into any needless battles and just play it safe. I think you're right, I don't even think I led that race at all. I think I led it for about 2 seconds when I made a move on my teammate, and then I put it into neutral by accident, so I ended up falling back to fourth again.
Aww.
So that was a mistake I wasn't really happy with, but yeah, the pace was decent considering, you know, we were in a train. I think it was about 5-car train for the majority, and then it became 4 at the end, I think. But yeah, you know, I was relieved in qualifying actually because, you know, I think on my final run I was P15, so, you know, to get P4 on the last lap with the pressure's on and stuff is, you know, pretty good. But yeah, just really happy to get the win. I have a habit of doing this, I think, now, where I'm winning it on penalties. I'm not actually winning it on track, so you know, it'll be nice to win one, you know, on outright pace at some point. But you know, these guys are incredibly fast, and yeah, congrats to Aidan and to Bailey as well. Shout out to Bailey. It was a really good performance today. So yeah, just you know, congrats to those guys, and yeah, top step, another win. I'm happy.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing I wanted to pick up on was the tow, because I feel like the battling was so close because of the constant tow that you had. Would you say that's a fair comment, and was that the reason all you guys were so close today?
Yeah, I think so. I think a few drivers in the community have alluded to this already, but yeah, I think, like, you know, it makes for exciting battles, don't get me wrong, but I do think it's a touch overpowered. I do believe it's a bit OP, the slipstream, especially with, you know, DRS. You've got three DRS zones as well, so, or no, sorry, there's 2 on that track, isn't it? Sorry. But yeah, I mean, the slipstream is yeah, it's just a touch overpowered, but, you know, it makes for exciting racing, I suppose. So yeah, I thought we were all quite close, evenly matched, and yeah, it was an exciting race.
Can't really complain if you win the race, I suppose, but congratulations on the win. And we moved to second place, Holland in P2, and you were pretty much leading that race from, well, I mean, you were in the lead of that Grand Prix for as long as anyone, really. So to lose it on penalties must be a little bit disappointing, but you must have a little bit of soul for your teammate who wins today.
Yeah, GG to my teammate, but with myself, I'm just so annoyed. I keep on getting penalties and losing the wins because of it. And yeah, it's not good enough really, but the race overall was pretty mad, very sweaty. Yeah, pretty annoyed with myself.
But good fun fights throughout the field today.
Oh yeah, it was fun. Yeah. Pretty scary at one point, going up to turn 3 in the. I don't know if it was decent or not, but Bailey hit me and I sort of got sent towards the wall. Don't know how I kept it out of the wall, but yeah, the heart and mouth moment with like 3 laps to go.
Yeah, I mean, the British Grand Prix up next. I don't know what your places are around Britain because we haven't seen you in other leagues. I won't name the leagues, but we haven't seen you in other leagues. So your pace around Silverstone, is it a circuit that you enjoy, a circuit that we could potentially see maybe on the top step without penalty, perhaps?
We'll see. I don't know what it's like at the minute, so.
Oh, well, I can only say commiserations on P2, or congratulations on P2, however you want to look at it. P3 went to Vertu Verstappen today and Bailey, and you've got to be pretty happy with that result. That's a mega drive from where you were. I mean, you started P2, so you must be pretty happy with that, but talk us through how your race went, because it was a pretty mega drive, wasn't it?
Well, first of all, in qualifying, I was not expecting to get P2 at all. So I was happy at that point. I would take that as it is. And I'm just very surprised that I managed to hold my own against these two with the mega battle, the 4-car train, near the end of the race, battling for the lead. In terms of the collision with Holland, there was not really too much contact. I was just giving him a bit of payback for the squeeze for the few laps earlier. Alright, I think I had a few opportunities to get past the driver in front of me at certain points, but it was just a bit too risky in the position. At P3, I did not want to throw that away at all.
So it's a pretty, as I say, it's a clean race from yourself. It did seem like most guys around you seem to be darting in for these overtakes so late on the brakes. Were you just worried not to get any sort of damage, make any sort of contact? Was that why you're playing it, well, I'd say quite safe, but I'd also say probably the mature way of going about it. So is that why you weren't going for as many moves as, say, other people around you? Is that a fair comment?
Yeah, I mean, once the rain started to come down, it was full caution really on the brakes. Holland got me on the brakes many times through the dying laps.
Yeah.
Shame I couldn't be ahead of him at the end. But I mean, P3, best result of the season. That's what I need really to get myself up in the championship.
Absolutely, and a confidence booster for yourself as well. Congratulations on P3, and Jess, what a race that was.
That was absolutely fantastic. Well done to you three on the top 3 position. We're pretty much following that battle for pretty much most of the race towards the end there. Absolutely stellar drives from all 3 of you. Obviously, well done to Morso for your pretty much 3rd win and possibly 2nd win in a row. Do you think that win in France pretty much, your consistent performances definitely helped you with that win there?
Yeah, it's it's a good confidence boost. A week ago, obviously getting the win. It's same nature as today, really. Via penalties, as I said. I mean, I think a few of us at the front are really evenly matched. So basically one penalty is going to cost, and yeah, I think I got one warning about maybe lap 3 as well or something. So I was playing it really safe and stuff, and. Yeah, it's good to get the win. Britain next, and yeah, judging by a race I've done around Britain, yeah, I'm going to need to up my game massively. So yeah, it wasn't ideal.
We've seen you in other leagues, not mentioning a few, and hopefully you'll have much better luck than you did in those leagues. So I wish you guys the best of luck. Any final words, James, before we wrap the stream up?
Well, other than it was a terrific Grand Prix, and I hope it just continues, really. The British Grand Prix is always a track that we know, love, and hopefully we'll see as good a racing as we did today in Austria.
Yes, indeed, and we'd like to thank you so much for joining the stream. It was nice to see a few people in the chat as well. Make sure you do join us right now, actually, for the Xbox One F1 tier, which is on AOR at the moment, so make sure you do jump to that to see who's going to come out on top here. Obviously, Ginger Andy and Justin Sutton will be commentating on that, so make sure you join that. I will be. I think a few people here as well will be cheering on a few teammates, so make sure you stick then. And also the America League, which happens at 1 AM UK time tomorrow morning if you're up that late in the UK, or if you're an American and you want to watch it. But anyway, thanks for watching. I have been Jess Games 95. James has been James, and we will catch you later, and we'll see you next week. Good night.